The Florence Protocol. Chapter 1. The prediction: rain streaked neon light across London's skyline, painting the city in streaks of restless colour. Adrian Ross clutched a paper in trembling hands in his penthouse suite, staring out at the city he had reshaped in his image. Fingers of steel and glass reached for the heavens because he had willed it so. People called him a visionary, a disruptor. But tonight, he felt none of it. The man who had built empires with his bare hands now held a single sheet of paper, his sharp green eyes tracing its contents over and over in disbelief. Every word mocked him, tightening his chest like a vice. Formed, the text stabbed through his ironclad confidence like the precision scalpel of an unseen surgeon. It wasn't a threat. It wasn't a plea. It wasn't extortion. It was his life, mapped out moment by moment with an eerie finality. 7:12 p.m. Receives call from wife. Ends mid-argument. 8:45 p.m. Signs contract with Spine Tech developers. 10 p.m. Orders Saint Emilion 2009 to be delivered to the penthouse study. 10:24 p.m. Exits the study. Heads to the rooftop alone. 10:32 p.m. Death confirmed after fall from rooftop. Ross's breath caught. He didn't want to read that last line again, but it was impossible to look away. His death as calmly stated as a weather forecast. Each action listed above had, one by one, already come to pass. The call at 7:12, an ugly exchange with Sophie, who had accused him of throwing away their family for another acquisition. The Spine Tech deal, with all its lucrative promise, finally inked at 8:45. Even the wine now rested on the mahogany desk behind him, its dark liquid catching slivers of light from the room's fireplace. It was all here. His choices weren't even his anymore. They were just words on a page, manifesting like clockwork. "Mr. Ross?" A soft, solicitous voice broke through the silence. Adrian turned sharply. His assistant, Carmen. She stood hesitantly by the doors to his study, her brow furrowed, expression tight with worry. "This isn't a good time," he snapped, his throat raw. Carmen fidgeted but didn't leave. "A man's downstairs asking for you. Said he's from MI6. Adrian stiffened. The paper rustled audibly as he gripped its edges tighter. He hadn't circulated the document, not to anyone. So why would Britain's intelligence agency appear at his door, tonight of all nights? "Tell him to..." Adrian stopped himself mid-sentence. A voice in the back of his mind, colder and more calculating, whispered otherwise. His instincts, which had served him so well in boardrooms and across hostile takeovers, were alight now with unease. There was no sentient logic to the timing of this visit, only something deeply ominous. "On second thought, send him up," he said shortly. "Yes, sir." Carmen disappeared as quickly as she'd entered. Adrian glanced back down at the prediction sheet. His pulse raced faster as he read his death timestamp again, 10:32 p.m. He checked his watch, then instinctively looked away as though the sight might unnerve him further. 10:16 p.m. The minutes clawed toward inevitability. When Jack Mercer stepped into the room moments later, there was nothing warm or disarming about the man's presence. He didn't smile. Hard edges defined every angle of his body. Short cropped brown hair framed a face marked by faint scars that told quiet, bitter war stories. "A late call for a tech billionaire," Jack commented dryly, his deep, gravel-laden voice carrying the faint trace of London's East End. A subtle jab glinted in his tone, but his sharp grey eyes were all business. He was already scanning Adrian like one would a crime scene, assessing, cataloguing, deducing. "And here I thought the security at Ross Dynamics would be tighter," Jack murmured, punctuating it with a faint sniff. Adrian frowned, both unsettled and irritated by how easily the man had breached the penthouse's top-floor sanctuary. "Whatever this is, make it quick," Adrian said, stripping each word of pretense. "I'm in the middle of something. Something involving an anonymous file uploaded to an MI6 intelligence server." Jack stepped into the room fully now, shaking rain off the collar of his dark coat. "Because that's why I'm here, Mr. Ross. To discuss what would compel someone to smuggle such a document directly to MI6. and why this document happens to be about you. 2 strides brought Jack to the fireplace. He knelt, placing 2 photographs on the mantelpiece in an almost perfunctory manner. Adrian's stomach sank as soon as he registered them. One was the note itself. The other? Security cam footage. A snapshot of Adrian walking across Paddington Station at precisely 6:47 p.m, the exact time logged within the prediction file. This, Jack said, wrapping the photo lightly with his knuckles, confirms some of what's already been marked. He looked Adrian squarely in the eye, wearing an expression perfectly devoid of disbelief. Now, we're trying to establish how someone could know your minute-by-minute movements down to this much precision. Because in my line of work, that level of foresight only comes with 2 things: surveillance or, Jack hesitated, as though struggling to put words to something darker, or someone stoking your life like a chessboard before you even realize what's happening. Adrian's mouth opened, desperate for a retort, but no sound emerged. A strange dizziness had taken hold deep within his chest, a hollow thrum, insidious and selfish like the beginnings of an embolism. His sweat glistened along furrows riddling his temples, and he realized abruptly he didn't care why MI6 wanted involvement or how conspiracies stacked nearby. The prediction still sat folded in his trembling hand, an unlit bomb itching to steal every fiber of control he claimed over the world. I peaked my net worth, career acquisitions, and foresaw lapses nobody else blinked at, Adrian barely uttered. Let me make one thing unshakably clear. I've crushed rivals taking years plotting coordinated step traps, posing spy audits that bloodhounds failed verifying outcomes. When you slither into shared territories predicting patterns, precisely what do you bring like supernatural intuition? It's deliberate unravel, predictive ruin catalyzing via Florence mechanism. But someone was initiating something far more dangerous. The pattern emerged too quietly at first. Small inconsistencies, fleeting anomalies, fragments of information that seemed unrelated. Each irregularity appeared insignificant on its own, easily dismissed as coincidence or human error. Yet Spencer could not shake the feeling that they mattered. 11 incidents, 11 fractures in the data, 11 events that mirrored one another with unnerving precision. Individually, they were whispers. Together, they formed a warning. Whoever was behind it wasn't improvising. They were constructing something, carefully, methodically, piece by piece, planting information bombs designed to detonate long after they were discovered. And with every new revelation, Spencer realized the situation was becoming far worse than anyone had imagined. Chapter 2. The Canary Wharf Ambush. A burst of gunfire shattered the glass canopy above Canary Wharf's concourse. Jack Mercer didn't hesitate. His instincts fired faster than his thoughts as he dove behind a low concrete planter, the acrid scent of diesel mixing with the coppery tang of adrenaline in his mouth. The chaos of the mid-afternoon crowds exploded around him in an instant. Shrieks, the thunder of panicked footsteps, the crash of a toppled luggage cart as commuters scrambled for cover. Through the din, Jack stretched his spine taut against the planter, calculating. The shot hadn't come randomly. It was precise, surgical, no warning. A professional sniper. That meant one thing. Whoever was behind it wasn't here to scare him. They were here to kill him. Slowly, Jack shifted his weight onto his heels, peeking a millimeter over the edge. The sun glared hard, gleaming off the mirrored towers looming over the financial district. His eyes scanned the windows, the rooftop edges, the faint silhouettes behind the tinted glass. No movement. The shooter knew exactly how to stay invisible. Another shot rang out, punching a clean hole through the metal advertisement frame just 6 inches from his head. The hiss of the ricochet almost taunting. Precision like that? They knew him, his tactics, his habits. Jack didn't bother to wonder who was on the trigger. The why was the far more pressing concern, and he already knew that answer. The prediction of Adrian Ross's death wasn't something the custodians were willing to leave untangled. His hand darted to his belt, fingers skimming the cold grip of the Glock 19 he'd concealed beneath his jacket. It wasn't meaningful against a sniper entrenched at several hundred meters. but it was better than standing bare. Around him, the crowd thinned, the city's hyper-efficient emergency systems automatically broadcasting in clipped tones for commuters to evacuate the area. Except, of course, the vehicles weren't functioning naturally. Jack bolted from cover. He hurtled down the promenade, boots slamming against the polished stone, weaving amidst the detritus of abandoned briefcases and fallen umbrellas. A digital tide of movement roared across the remaining autonomous cars lining the street, a ripple of engines whining as the grid suddenly synchronized itself. One by one, sleek self-driving cars came to life, forming an unnatural barricade across his path. Not fleeing, herding. Christ, Jack muttered, veering left. His comms buzzed faintly. MI6 wouldn't help him out of this. They'd barely believed him when he'd mentioned the file that condemned Ross. No official footprints, nothing clean. A vehicle surged forward, brushing aggressively close in its deliberate calculation. By the time Jack reacted, another swerved inward, boxing him tight along a narrowing corridor of designer benches and steel bollards. His trajectory trimmed to harm. Somewhere high above, the sniper would be watching this play out, waiting for the perfect moment. Patience was their real weapon, not the rifle. The car in front of him slammed to a halt, hydraulic brakes screaming against the momentum, but Jack turned it to his favor. He vaulted onto its hood in a fluid motion, his thighs burning with exertion. Vault. Pivot mid-stride toward Newfound Street. The sniper hadn't fired. Why? Accuracy compromise? Or they knew where they wanted him before execution level occurred? Feeling gravity angles steep toward betrayal, cars compacting intelligently but effectively shepherding nearest open electronic yards and zones, cordless, attacking linearly matching.